So breathing is all about air pressure. And what we have is we've got two cavities here. We've got the chest cavity and we've got the abdominal cavity. And what happens is the chest cavity expands. So the diaphragm moves down and this expands the chest cavity, and this reduces the air pressure inside. And because the air pressure outside is a higher pressure, this sucks the air in. So it's the expansion of the chest cavity that causes the air to come in. It's to do with air pressure. And then the opposite on the exhale. You see, on the exhale, the diaphragm goes up again and the chest cavity goes in, collapses. So the air pressure inside is getting higher. There's a higher air pressure inside. Outside is lower, so the air pressure to equalize out, you exhale, the air gets pushed out to a lower pressure. Now the next thing to notice is on the inhale here, when the chest cavity expands, it pushes down, the diaphragm goes down, it pushes down on the abdominal cavity, and it tends to push your belly out, so the belly goes out. Now the reason it's the belly that goes out is because this area, the TA muscle, is relatively weak. The back here is the spine, so this is quite strong. So when this wants to expand, it's difficult to expand that way. It goes this way. This is the easier way of expanding. Now, what I'm trying to do is resist this. This has got to be held tighter, so this expansion will become more even. So we'll come to that in a second. Now, this position is neutral. There is equal air pressure. It's equal inside and equal outside. The air pressure is the same. So this is the relaxed position. Relax. But what's interesting is there's air in here. There's some air here and there's some air here. Your lungs are still got some air in them. They never really empty. So I want to try and work out how to empty the lungs. We want to empty the lungs as much as possible so that when we exhale, we squeeze out the lungs. So when we inhale, we suck in a new breath of air. See, if we're always only inhaling to here, we never really empty the lungs. We're always mixing new air with old air. So I want to get a new, clean, fresh breath of air. Now, this is the structural breathing exercise. This is what I'm trying to do here. So when I inhale, I'm expanding the chest cavity, but I'm trying to expand it evenly. I'm trying to create an even expansion all around the chest cavity and using the rib cage itself, the intercostal muscles, to expand the ribs. And then the same thing here with the abdominal cavity. Because the diaphragm is pushing down, I'm trying to get an even expansion front and back in the abdominal cavity, and also assist that even with the pelvic floor. Squeeze the pelvic floor, pull this up, and this creates a strong pressure in the abdominal cavity to help get this backwards expansion against the spine. And also I want to keep this tight. You see, this has got to be pulled in. So on the inhale, I'm trying to control the air pressure in the chest and the abdomen, and on the exhale, I'm trying to squeeze out all the air. You see, I'm trying to pull the belly in, and even here everything comes in. The pelvic floor is still being pulled up. I'm exhaling, so the diaphragm goes up. I'm allowing the rib cage to collapse, both front and back, and I want to squeeze out all the air in the exhale. So this becomes empty as possible. And then when I inhale again, I'm trying to draw the air deep down to here, to the lowest part of the lungs, the deepest part. You see, the front expands a bit easier. The front expands easier, and again the TA muscle expands easier because it's weaker relative to the spine. And furthermore, here on the inhale, I'm expanding the chest cavity and controlling the expansion of the abdominal cavity, but I'm also trying to expand the spine. I'm stretching the spine, the vertebra opening. I'm stretching the shoulders are coming out, and I'm stretching the hips. Everything is getting a stretch in this expansion. And on the exhale, I'm allowing the spine to just relax again and close back up a bit. So not only am I moving the chest cavity and the abdominal cavity, I'm moving the spine and the bone structure. And even up to here, going up to the head, the skull and the brain. We want a nice stretch in the neck, but I'm going to talk about that in later videos. So, and the other thing to notice here is quite an even shape. I've got a nice even sort of egg-like shape, and I'm expanding and contracting the shape. And again here, the whole thing sort of pinches together in a nice even egg-like shape. We don't have the belly coming out. We haven't changed the shape. We want a nice even shape. Now there should still be an S curve. There will be a gentle S curve of the spine going on. But you can see the idea of what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to control the pressure in the chest cavity and the pressure in the abdominal cavity, and this is going to change the blood pressure. This is going to affect the heart, but I actually want to do that. This is going to move a lot of blood around the body. This change in pressure is going to do a lot of movement of the blood. It's going to create massive blood flow. And the exhalation, of course, is going to get a new, when you squeeze out all the air, you're releasing everything, and on the inhale, you've got new air coming in, brand new air. So you're going to get new oxygenated blood pumping around the body through this expansion and contraction, and it's going to pump around through the bone structure as well. We're moving so much in the body when I'm trying to do this, but this is very advanced. You've got to go slowly and carefully because it does affect the heart and the blood pressure. Okay, let's try the exercise. So this is the exercise here, and this is the intermediate level, so you can go back and look at the previous video about this in more detail. But this, of course, is just an exercise. You know, I'm not expecting you to breathe like this all the time, although I am trying to do that, in fact. But this is an exercise in optimization of breathing. I'm trying to create the most efficient breathing exercise. I'm trying to get the deepest inhalation, as I lift up here, inhale into the back of the ribs, and the most complete exhalation. As I squeeze down, I'm squeezing out all the air, pulling in the belly in. So the inhale, I'm really expanding and stretching open the rib cage, lifting up the shoulders. And on the exhale, I'm pulling in the belly, pulling in the obliques, and squeezing out all the air as I tighten up the arms, even down to fists. And it's actually about tensing the whole body. At this point, I'm squeezing out the air from the whole body. And on the inhale, the air gets sucked in naturally, and I'm trying to suck it in deep down to the back of the ribs, the deepest part of the lungs. So this is about optimization. The deepest breath in I could possibly get, and the most complete exhale that I can possibly do. So this is maximum efficiency of breathing. And this idea of keeping the belly in, not moving the belly out too much, again, this is going to be a bit controversial because most people talk about letting the belly go out as you breathe. But I am actually letting the belly move, but it's on the other way round. So the belly goes from a neutral position to an exhale where it pulls in. So it pulls in, so now the belly is in, and then on the inhale it does come out a little bit, but it's not too much, it's not all the way out. The expansion has got to be even, and then the belly goes in. So I am actually moving my belly, but I'm moving the belly from all the way in to just halfway out. I'm never projecting the belly all the way out. And this is important. This is how you will protect yourself from hernia. This breathing is a way of controlling your abdominal wall to prevent hernias. And even when you cough, a big problem with hernias is when you cough, you pop out a hernia. This is a method of controlling your breath when you cough to prevent hernias. And I'll talk more about that in time. And it also leads up to something that is called iron shirt. This creates a very strong abdominal wall that allows you to resist blows. And in the advanced version, I'm going to be talking a bit more about that. But here, as you can see, the exercise is a deep inhalation, stretch open the rib cage left and right, lift up the shoulders, even look up to stretch the spine, then exhale, pull in the stomach, squeeze out with isometric tension to try and get the last drop of air out, and then you suck in a new fresh breath of air on the inhalation. But do try this very slowly, very carefully. It is extremely powerful, and you're going to create a massive blood flow, and you're changing the blood pressure, so you can get a head rush. But that is a good sign. It means you've moved oxygenated blood around your body. Okay, check out these other videos here, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video, which will be the advanced level of this breathing.